Our story begins in the aftermath of a massive, devastating war between humans and an alien race known as the Covenant. It was the kind of war where nobody really won, everyone just lost. The destruction was so total that Earth itself was destroyed, forcing the survivors to live on distant planets and scattered space colonies. To stop the bleeding, the Covenant and the humans made a deal to stop attacking each other's homes. But the humans knew better than to trust them. They knew the Covenant had a habit of breaking promises. Because of that, a man named Commander Locke and his elite team were out there in the shadows, secretly keeping an eye on them. One day, while on a mission, they spotted an alien named Sadra who had just arrived. He was acting suspicious, handing something over to a human smuggler. Locke's team scanned the package, and their hearts sank. It was a bomb. They didn't hesitate. One soldier jumped in and captured the smuggler, while the rest of the team chased the alien as he sprinted toward the city. They alerted security and kept up the pursuit until the alien ducked into a dark tunnel. Locke caught up to him there, and it was a brutal, desperate fight. The alien managed to knock Locke down and scrambled into a crowded mall. Locke wouldn't give up. He caught the alien in a corner and demanded the bomb, but the alien just laughed a cold, chilling laugh. He said, "This is just the beginning," and triggered the device, killing himself instantly. A massive wave of energy exploded through the city. At first, it was strange. Nobody died instantly, and there was no fire. But then the horror started. People began feeling sick. They couldn't breathe. They started collapsing in the streets, and their veins frighteningly turned bright blue. Locke's own agents who were near the blast got sick too and were rushed to the hospital. The colonel checked the rest of the team, and luckily only those two were affected. But as he looked around, the hospital was filling up at a terrifying speed. Scientists quickly figured out the truth. This bomb was designed to kill only humans. It didn't touch the plants or the animals. The Covenant had engineered a virus that attacked human DNA itself. The colonel realized the gravity of the situation. He knew that if the Covenant saw this worked, Earth's remaining colonies were next. They had to do two things: prove to the aliens that the attack was being handled and, more importantly, find and destroy the source of this bioagent. For the colonel, this was personal. His own daughter had died in the attack, and his heart was heavy with a need for justice. They went to the captured smuggler and cracked him. He confessed that the virus came from a place called the Alpha Halo, a broken ring floating near a scorching hot star. It was a place that felt like hell itself. The team had to go there, find the other smugglers, and wipe out the source. But there was a catch. The Alpha Halo was so close to a red star that the heat would kill them if they were caught in the daylight. They had a tiny 16-hour window to get in and out under the cover of night. When they reached the ring, the terrain was too rough for their ship to land. The team had to jump out, and the ship flew away, leaving them in a silent, dangerous wasteland. They soon found the smuggler's ship, and the engine was still warm. They were close. They found parachutes and, oddly enough, horses. Because electronics and machines didn't work well in that environment, the smugglers were using animals to get around. Following the hoofprints, they found a cave. Inside were two smugglers and the bioagent. Locke's team moved fast, capturing the men and securing the virus. They called their ship back, thinking they were home free. But then, the nightmare began. A swarm of terrifying worms called the Ogolo appeared. These creatures could sense movement and technology, and they ate everything: flesh, metal, machines. They swarmed the landing spaceship, got inside, and literally ate the pilot alive. The ship spiraled out of control and crashed, blocking the team's only way off the rock. To make matters worse, the sun would be up soon and they would burn to death. As they tried to think, the worms swarmed again, killing 3 of the soldiers in a flash. The survivors scrambled into a cave. One of the smugglers warned them, "They sense your tech!" Everyone scrambled to turn off their gear. When the worms crawled over them, they had to stand perfectly still, holding their breath, praying they wouldn't be noticed. Once the worms passed, they started a long, grueling walk. They were stranded. Then Locke remembered the smuggler's ship they had seen earlier. The problem, it only had 2 seats, and there were way more than 2 of them. Tensions boiled over. Some wanted to fix the crashed ship, but that seemed impossible. One soldier suggested they just leave it to luck. The winners get the seats, the rest stay. Another soldier even suggested killing the smugglers to simplify things. The smugglers shot back. "The ship is ours. If you kill us, you'll never figure out how to fly it." One of us goes, or nobody goes. As they argued and walked, a soldier accidentally dropped her breathing equipment. The signal was like a dinner bell for the worms. They swarmed and killed her instantly. When her friend tried to help, he was horrified to find the insects had already hollowed her out. Panic set in. As they ran, Locke tripped. The worms sensed his movement and closed in. Thinking fast, another soldier turned on her gear and threw it as far as she could. The worms chased the electronic signal, saving Locke's life. They stood frozen for an hour, waiting for the swarm to clear. But time was running out. Only 3 hours of darkness remained. One soldier, a man named Ramos, snapped. He was terrified and selfish. He pushed a smuggler into the path of the worms to create a distraction so the team could run. He knew it was wrong, but he didn't care. Later, the team saw what looked like their dead friend standing on a hill. They almost ran to him but stopped. The worms had clumped together to take a human shape, trying to trick them into a trap. Ramos, meanwhile, was sinking deeper into his own greed. He wanted that ship for himself. He slowed down and convinced a friend to stay back with him. Then, without warning, Ramos pushed his own friend off a cliff. When the others asked where he went, Ramos lied and said he slipped. Eventually, Ramos and another partner drew their guns on the rest of the team. He didn't care about the mission anymore. He just wanted to live. They forced the smuggler to lead them away, leaving Locke and the others behind. Locke's group was heartbroken and exhausted, but Locke told them they couldn't give up. They went back to their crashed ship. The engine actually worked, but there wasn't enough fuel to get to orbit. The commander made a choice. He told Locke and a soldier named Masser that they were the ones who had to leave. Locke refused, saying they were a team. So, the commander took his late daughter's bracelet, broke it, and put the beads in his hand. Whoever draws white goes, red stays. Locke and Masser both drew white. The ship only had room for 2. It was a heavy, emotional goodbye. The commander smiled through the pain, saying he was happy to give his life if it meant saving humanity. As Locke and Masser took off, we see what happened to Ramos. He reached the smuggler's ship, but he was gasping for air. He tried to steal his partner's oxygen tank, but it was empty. They were both weak and dying. The smuggler saw his chance and bolted. Then the worms arrived. Ramos's partner betrayed him, throwing a piece of gear at him to draw the worms away. The swarm devoured Ramos. The partner then fired a gun at the escaping smuggler, a fatal mistake. The noise drew every worm in the area, and he was swarmed too. Up in the air, Locke and Masser's ship struggled and crashed back down. The noise was going to bring the Algolo right to them. Seeing this, the commander turned on all his gear, standing out in the open to lure the worms toward himself. His sacrifice worked. It gave Locke and Masser the opening they needed to reach the smuggler's ship. As they broke orbit, the sun began to rise. The red star moved closer, turning the entire Alpha Halo a glowing, fiery red. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the ring. The commander had set off the charges, destroying the bioagent and himself along with it. Locke and Masser watched from the stars, mourning their leader but knowing the threat was gone. Humanity was safe, at least for now.